talk about tonight. We're going to talk about some awesome wins this week. Jane is going to start off. She's going to share an important message that I think we all need to hear, and we all need some affirmation. And then we'll have an update on some actions that we're working on, and of course, open the floor to Q&A. So I've got Jane Scarf, paralegal Jane Scarf here, and we've got Amanda Ridding, who is quite the whippersnapper when it comes to court proceedings. I think a lot of you know Amanda. Amanda, if you want to say hi. Jane, if you want to say hi.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, and I'm Rebecca Sheppard. Sorry, guys. Amanda, you want to say hello?
Hi.
Hi. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Jane because I know Jane would like to impart some insight. So, Jane, take it away.
Well, first of all, we caused quite a stir with our S233 campaign. You can see a video done by Paula Simons, just freaking out that all these people are writing in, complaining that we don't want, a communist universal income system from the government. But I think we also piqued the concern of MPs and senators as well, because I think they recognize that their great big fat pensions are going to get rolled into this one-size-fits-all universal income package, because Senator Pate said in her response to Liz, that it's for unemployment insurance, disability, and retirement. So it doesn't say pension, senior pension, which is what I thought at first. I didn't think it through enough to recognize that all the federal pensions are going to be in that same pot. So that's making, I think, the MPs and the senators work against that process, because you could see how really frazzled Paula was. And I don't think it was from the sheer numbers of letters that were coming from citizens. I think that was part of it. But the attention that those letters got amongst the senators and the MPs is, I think, what's really caused the concern. And I think, I don't know if it's related or not, but we also see a huge, how would you say, white hat effort on part of the MPs with regard to the Senate investigation on the Emergencies Act. They're kicking the shit out of Trudeau and company, and they were merciless with the police. And they absolutely, because they have subpoena power, which is really cool, and so it means that whoever they want to testify must testify, and they must answer. They're required to answer, just like when you're subpoenaed to court. You can't just sit there and say, no, I don't want to. You have to, or it's contempt. So they made the police testify to whether they needed to bring in the Emergency Act or not. And they were asked, did you request, like, for example, Brenda Lucki, the commissioner of RCMP, was asked, did you request the government to bring in the Emergency Act? And she tried to hedge and haw and diddle and screw, but they wouldn't let her off the hook. And eventually she said, no, she did not. CSIS said, no, they did not. And the Ottawa Police Services said, no, we did not. Also, Ottawa Police Services made a clear statement that there was no guns found amongst the truckers. There was no violence amongst the truckers. There was 2 incidences that were getting blamed on the truckers, but the police clarified that they were unrelated. One was an arson and one was some kind of violence. I don't know what it was, but it was unrelated. It was people.
It was an attempted arson. It wasn't even an arson. It was attempted.
Okay.
They tried to burn down an apartment building.
Yeah. So at the end of the day now, though, they say it's completely divorced from the truckers. So they have nothing. Great big fat friggin' nothing burger. And there's so many things that are wrong there. It's just like eeny meeny. Like any one of the things that are wrong are enough to invalidate its invocation. It violated our rights, which it's not supposed to. In the 3rd paragraph of the Emergency Act, it says you can't violate the Canadian Bill of Rights. As well, the grounds are supposed to be severe danger to the lives, health, and safety of citizens. Well, hello, nothing, nothing, nothing. No threat doesn't equate to extreme threat or risk of overthrowing the government. Same thing again. There's no evidence. The mandate, or not the test, was the federal vax passport mandate for travel. That's it. Like they're just taking them to task. So Section 60 of the Criminal Code shows clearly that doing that activity is not seditious, and it's not anything that's illegal. And as well, the protest didn't meet the criteria of blockade because one lane was open and the intersections were open. And it also was not an occupation at all in any way, shape, or form. The only blockade was the police closing off Wellington Street to all traffic, but the truckers left one lane and the intersections open on Wellington and everywhere else.
And also, Jane, and also
protesting.
To follow up on that was that the two injunctions, the judge, I think it was the same judge. The judge ruled that it was a legal and peaceful protest, and basically said, "Go and have a good time. Just keep it the way it is, legal and peaceful." And said, and basically said, "Have at her."
Yeah, continue the peaceful protesting. Yeah. The only thing he asked was no more horn honking.
Yes.
And also he gave the green light for the bylaw to pass out tickets, because normally in a protest they're not allowed to, but the court overrode that and said, go ahead and give out your protest or give out your parking tickets. Yeah, so big whip. And so obviously if it was an illegal protest, the police wouldn't even have to go to court to get it deemed illegal. They can do it themselves. I forget which section.
63 bracket 1.
There you go. You always know them. And so in there, the police can deem it unlawful, the protest, and shut it down and arrest anybody that refuses to leave, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't do that because they didn't need to do that because there was nothing unlawful. So I think things are falling apart, completely falling apart. And the RCMP are talking about charges against Trudeau, one of them related, one of them unrelated to the Emergency Act. But there might be many other charges coming out of this investigation with the Senate. But currently they're saying he took a holiday based on contributions or donations or whatever that were unauthorized. He didn't get authorization. And when he was asked about it, he said he did authorize it. So he's also obstructing. And the other issue was he asked the military to surveil the protest. And that was illegal also. He didn't go through the proper procedures. And again, when he was asked, he said, no, he didn't do it. And then when it came out that he did do it, he said, well, yeah, okay, I did it. But it was just an exercise. It wasn't an actual military activity. It was just like an exercise or some stupid thing. But that's not going to hold up.
Yeah. And let's also acknowledge that the military, so the military was caught doing some other nefarious things, but that's only one thing that we know of that he asked the military to intervene on. And it wasn't, just so everyone is aware, it wasn't on the ground, it was planes. So they were surveilling in the air, which I think a lot of us had seen and heard military planes. There we go.
Yeah, I can handle that even because,
they start early, eh?
Yeah, well, they don't like to.
No, I actually have removed them like 4 times.
Oh, okay, good. Well, they're going to get theirs in the end anyway.
Yeah,
okay, what else? What other topic for proof? Oh, yes. One thing that just came up today, I haven't mentioned it for a while, but when I was looking at Kelly Hale's case, his 2 bylaw tickets were coming up this week. He was supposed to have a judicial pretrial. So we were going through all the provisions. And again, we see that there's no enforcement. That was Rebecca's baby. And but I noticed that again, that there was provision in there.
Oh, Jane, you just muted.
Okay. I noticed that, not noticed, but I recognized that in these COVID measures, the provincial government gave the police power to implement martial law.
Oh, Jane, you muted again.
Doing that, because doing it on its own. Okay. What was I going to say? Okay, the police were given power to initiate martial law through these stupid brinky-dinky bylaws, but the police in Ontario refused to shut gatherings.
Mhm.
And what that would have looked like if they did do it would be if a neighbor says, we saw 6 people going into that house, and there was a limit at one time of 5, then by the bylaw, not by the general criminal code and all the common law and everything we've established over centuries, but just with these rinky-dinky bylaws, it said the police could smash into your house without a warrant, and if they count 6 people, they can drag everybody out, grandmother, the baby, everybody out in the street, go away, you can't go in your house anymore, lock your door, and that's and of course charge people because you violated whatever stupid sections of the emergency. But they didn't do that. The only time they ever shut down was under court order. And when we saw Adam Skelly's, that was not the police. That was off-duty police officers hired as private security. Bunch of bullshit. But they refused. Right since day one, they refused. And I love that. And as well, when it came to the stay-at-home order, they refused publicly. They put out statements. 44 out of 44 police services in Ontario put out public statements. We're not doing that. And they did not do that. They did when you... These guys must be Antifa or something because they hate our good stuff. Eh? But anyways, that was a real treat. But what brought it back home again today or yesterday when I was looking at Kelly's case is in the lockstep plan, they said they were going to use a pandemic, and then the government would overstep. And then when the pandemic was gone, the government was going to continue to overstep.
Yeah.
Well, you can see the structure of what they were doing was exactly that. But because the police didn't cross the line, they didn't get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, they made their noises and their actual bylaws were contravening rights and all of that. But now at the end of the day, when the pandemic's gone and all this stuff has been withdrawn, they didn't get anywhere. The police didn't step into that martial law power, so they're not continuing it. And I don't know if they can start all of this all over again. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can get the, people's psyche to support that again. I think they fucked right over. They lost. I think they've lost.
I'm with
in
you
Ontario,
on that,
anyway. In
Jane.
Ontario, yeah.
No, I think everywhere, Jane, because they're trying to do the monkeypox and
everything. People are laughing their heads off.
I know. Have you seen the memes? I've had enough of this monkey business. I ain't monkeying around. Everyone's had it, and it does create a lot of energy. It does take a lot of energy to create fear. But also, Bojena was saying, like in Poland, its life is normal. We're in, as you all know, because I don't hide my life from anyone, because I don't have a reason to. Here in Mexico, it's always been, well, they did close down way back in the beginning of 2021. And then they realized we can't do this anymore. And so now it's like, I flew here mask free from Buffalo. I got to the airport mask free. Unlike Canada, where you still have to wear a mask. You even have to wear a mask crossing the border in your car. Yeah. It's stupid. So it's like, Keith says, the K is silent in monkeypox.
Yeah. I like
That's a good
one.
one.
The one that says it take the X off at the end. Monkey poo.
Yeah, monkey poo. But it just seems like the world is fatigued from this and also is pissed off. And it's like, look what's happening right now with Trudeau. Any of these politicians campaigning, what do they get? Everyone is screaming, "Fuck you!" I mean, I think there's better ways.
Actually, just that fits right now. Right, with what we're saying is what you did on Parliament Hill. It just fits right here.
Yes, let's do that. Now, I know we've been talking about this on different calls, but wait a second here. There we go.
Yeah. Fuck you, Antifa.
This person, did you hear that? I'm sorry, but Oh my gosh, it makes me laugh so much. If only they knew what we knew, but I can't say what I know, but they're so fucking wrong. Anyway, fuck Trudeau, right? So, guys, as you've seen, Jagmeet Singh, Ford, any of them, because I don't care which politician you've been playing along because have you done anything? Nope.
Yeah.
And, Pierre, answer the question, just stop. Anyway, so my fuck Trudeau shirt that I wore on the Hill, we have a good news that came out of that. We had a friend go back. So I was arrested on May 7th, and we had a friend go back last week, and they went for the purpose of confronting, like I had. They went with the purpose of getting ticketed, arrested. They were prepared to whatever was going to happen. They were going to do it, and then they were like, PPS came over and said, hey, we see your sign. And they said, well, we've got a new policy. We don't care what you say on the Hill. We're not going to stop you. And I like to think that it was because they saw the notice of liability in the amount of $35,000.
It was.
And it was rock solid. It was rock solid. And what they saw was the law, or the Bill of Rights, case law, like they saw everything. And so, but in the offer to rectify was, if you get rid of the policy in 7 days, I'll let it go. So they got rid of the policy. Now, Jane, I have to follow up on the apology for the Ottawa Sun and the Ottawa Citizen. I haven't seen that yet, but so
maybe they're trying to get a compromise going on.
Yeah, maybe. So I'll take this as a big win, guys, because like it was a showdown on that Hill, an hour and a half showdown.
They were doing that for quite a while.
Yes. And they need a bitch slap. And I know, Jane, I know you and you're like, I don't need to do this, which I know I don't need to do it, Jane, but it's just what I do. I did message one of the Federal Real Estate Board, whatever they called, and just to be like, is this federal private land or private or public land? And they're like, obviously it's public. It's owned by the government. I'm like, thank you. So I have that in writing now. So I got everything. So that's another win.
Yes,
now,
it is.
And then what are the other wins that we have, Jane? We got
everybody and their dog is getting their charges dropped everywhere. And that includes the tickets and the criminal charges. And one of the ones I loved this week was Janice. She went into a JPT, and
that's a judicial pretrial, guys. Judicial pretrial.
Yeah, and the judge said to the Crown, "This woman was passing out gloves to the truckers. That's a humanitarian act, not a criminal act. And mischief? Why are you charging her with mischief? There was no damage. Is this the way you want the court to spend their time?" Like, she scolded him. This is the judge scolding the Crown in a trial. And he said he still wanted to go on, but she was very encouraged by that. Because don't forget, at the end of the day, it's the judge that's going to make the decision. And
that's right.
Lots of other. I think that there's a lot of people, and I always said that all along, that there's bureaucrats, there's people in the court system, there's like police officers, military, everybody that are Canadian, and they're on our side, and they're doing what they can to maintain. And now they've gained momentum, and they're poking Trudeau's eyes right out.
Oh gosh, you guys, you should just go watch a parliamentary review, like the comment. I'll put the link in the chat for you guys. But even in the House, and I'm going to thank all of you. And I know some of you. I know Lise has sent out. How many letters did she send out, Jane?
Or something like that, or more. 300.
Yes.
And with the addresses and stamps, and then took video of herself putting them in the mailboxes. And she sent all MPs and all senators.
Nice. Well done, guys.
Answer back from the Pate, Senator Pate, who's one of the ones that introduced that bill. And
Bill S233, that's her baby.
Yeah. And that was very revealing, because she said retirement. And that's catch-all, because that's all. See that? That's a good... We could tell when we hit the right nerve. It's
I know,
fun.
right?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so I think we're winning. It's not over yet, and I'm not saying we won, but I'm saying we're winning, and we still like don't relax yet, guys. Like stay on it. Everybody, stay on it. That's why we're winning too, is because so many people are getting into it, and they're looking at their situation, which is what we've recommended all along. You don't look for leaders. You look around and say, "What can I do? What can I do today? What can I say today? What can I do today?" And that's what people are doing. And it's all different things in different situations. And they're loving it too, because then they come back and they say, "Look what we did." And we're like, wow, like, yeah, love it, absolutely love it. And that's why we're winning. That's why we're winning. Not because we made a party or we never talk about Stand4Thee has so many members and we're speaking for all these members. Never did that. Never ever did that.
That's not what we're here to do.
Exactly.
That's not at all what we're here to do.
We're gathering, we're giving them recommendations, we're accepting their recommendations, their information, amalgamating it all. Like when people find, Kimberly gave us some information there that she's been researching on her case, and that's how we're compiling information from people doing their own research and uncovering little gems. And that's how collectivity, that's how solidarity works, and it's spiritual,
100%,
magical.
100%. So here are all the wins that we had this week. So Jane just mentioned Janice had her charges dropped. A gentleman named Matthew.
No, she didn't get them dropped yet.
Oh, she didn't get them dropped yet, but she's obviously
kicking the shit out of the crown.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yes, and
Sandra James Bowder.
Sandra. Yeah, she had her stayed. I talked to the other day. I took 4 phone calls within like 2 hours of people dealing with quarantine, and a gentleman who called me, it was his wife that was going into the court first. She had her charges; they were dismissed. Like she just went in, they were done. It was over. It was gone. And yes, exactly. What can I do? That's what if we all had the attitude of what can I do, then we would be in a different place. And that's the mindset that we need to have. And that's what we're here to do, is to give you guys the information so that you can decide where you want to help and where you can create change. And I can't say this enough. We are all co-creators in the world that we live in. And we've been disconnected from each other for so long. And now it's so incredible to see folks like all of you and everybody who's involved with Stand4Thee coming together to collectively be the change that we want to see in this world. I digressed a little bit. And then the other cool thing.
Can I just quote an old American?
I almost kicked you out, Amanda.
I thank you for that, by the way. I wouldn't be back in tonight. I just wanted to say, ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yeah, I love that one.
AFK.
Yeah, bless his heart. But the other really good news is, this is so cool. James Bowder. Jane, you want to tell everyone what James Bowder has accomplished?
Oh, he's got permission to have a jury. And he's intending to subpoena, well, he's already told the Crown, he's subpoenaing Trudeau and Singh, or whatever his name is. And then Rebecca recommended the 3 MPs who brought in the Emergency Act. Blair.
Lamenti, Mendicino, and Blair.
Yeah, and so he's right on it. Like he's loving it. So he's going to talk with Dave, because Dave subpoenaed Oglaza for Kelly successfully, got his ass in there. So he'll help him set up those subpoenas for them. And they have to come, because we have a right to a full defense. So they can't say, oh, well, they're too important to come. No, they've made the decisions that have created peaceful protest into an illegal protest. So they need their little friggin' buns in the court and answer to that. Where's your evidence, buddy, that this was not a legal protest? You show on the record that I've done something illegal, and they can't do it. So it's going to really turn things. And he's also going to ask the court to make an exemption in his case for entirely vaxxed jury, because that would be a biased jury, because the protest was about vax passport for travel. So he can't have a fully vaxxed jury. That would be a perverted process. So at least 50-50, they're thinking, say no more than 50% vaxxed and 50% unvaxxed.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say no, that's a real, that will be appealed. And I think you can appeal, unless they've changed it over the years. I don't think they have, but with criminal charges, especially in his case, because they're saying it's indictable, I believe that he has the right to appeal all the way up to the Supreme Court. Whereas normally, if it's not criminal, the court gets to decide, and they select usually 1 out of 60 requests for a Supreme Court consideration. But I think that because your liberty is in question, you have a right to go to the Supreme Court with your issues, with your criminal issues, unless they've changed things in the last few years. That's the way it always was before in the past. And I think it's still like that. I'll have to do some research and make sure. But he can at least go as high as the Supreme Court.
I think Amanda just laughed at my comment.
Oh, okay. Well,
they were sorry. Folks were asking how they would check to see if they're vaccinated. And Amanda said blood test, I guess. And I was like, magnetic test.
Oh, you mean blood clot?
One of the two. It's not, we shouldn't, that's not cool. But I couldn't help it. I had to say magnetic test. Oh gosh. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm just going to respond to.
Where we just use a nickel, Rebecca?
Yeah, just use a spoon on the shoulder or something.
Yeah.
I do want to. I just saw a comment about Rocco Galati, guys. Okay, so 1 second here. There, I just had to remove someone. Thank you very much.
Oh, I think I may have beat you to it.
Oh God, see you later. Anyway, what was I just gonna say? Crap, they distracted me. Oh, Rocco
Galati.
Yes. Okay, so listen, guys. I'm only gonna tell you what happened. I'm not gonna say anything more. But I had somebody call me and ask me some questions about a lawyer that they had hired. And I probed a little bit deeper because I'm like, well, I may know the lawyer, so if you can share, then maybe I can help you. This person has not heard from Rocco Galati since November 2nd. There was no disclosure over how much money was put forward, but there's been zero communication since November. And I wonder how many other people are out there that have given money to have themselves represented by Rocco and team, and they've heard nothing. And it's pretty appalling. And if you know anybody out there, I suggest you put in a complaint to is it the Law Society, Jane, or the bar?
The Law Society.
I mean, at this point, I think that you need complaints need to be made. Yeah. Nobody knows where he is. I know he was sick, but that was in January, guys.
They're not allowed to do that.
I know.
When they're sick, we're supposed to have a backup plan in place. Like when they do an audit, they look through your whatever, your paperwork, and you have to have somebody that is licensed and willing to take over your complete operation, and you have to have like a plan to turn that over to them. Mm-hmm. You can't just disappear or get sick or go on a holiday or whatever and just leave all your cases hanging. You have to turn it over to someone else. And he has staff too, for Christ's sakes. Like, what the hell? And he had something filed on behalf of Vax Choice Canada or whatever in June 2020. Mm-hmm. And they don't have a court date yet? I don't think so. And now I have a copy of it. So it did definitely get filed. I had to really dig to find it because originally it was easy to get and then I couldn't find it. But now I have it and I have it on my computer. But if you look on what is it? Vax Choice Canada? Is that what this?
Vaccine Choice Canada.
Yeah. If you look on their website, there's no reference to it, as if it never happened, never existed.
Yeah.
And it was.
So I'm going to pause for a quick second. I know there's some people in here. I'm getting private messages. If anyone is being harassed by anyone in the call, we're being attacked, like I mentioned earlier. And I'm so if anyone is getting weird private messages, please just message us, either myself or Amanda, and we'll take care of them. Again, we're very transparent with everything that we do. I mean, if I was hiding in Mexico, I wouldn't tell you I was in Mexico, would I? So, and just so everyone knows, I have a job, guys. Not that I really need to defend myself at all. Just so you know, I have this job, Stand4Thee, that I work more than my regular job.
And volunteer, unpaid.
And I have a job.
Yeah.
A paid job.
Yeah, a paid job. And so
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend myself out of any actions that I've taken. I don't need to. PK, why don't you?
Oh,
Okay,
where's the money
Yeah,
Rebecca
yeah,
took?
yeah.
Idiots. Oh, you
I-
mean the what did we collect? We collected 5,000.
No,
We spent 6,000, and we did about 5 times more work than the lawyers did for that 6,000, and everything's filed. So go fuck yourself. These people who are whining, who didn't even pay anything towards it anyway, and aren't doing any work whatsoever. Fuck you. We filed an injunction and we filed for judicial review for fucking $6,000.
Yeah.
That's a $30,000 or about at least $30,000 worth of legal work for $5,000. So that's where the money went, asshole. Hit the road.
I second that. I second everything that Jane said. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to, that's actually a great segue. Pat King. That's,
Okay, bring it on. Bring it on.
oh boy. So actually, no, we're just going to give an update on what happened. And again, guys, we're just telling you facts here. We're not making shit up. These are things that have happened here. These are not secondhand pieces of information. We're telling you, these are the conversations that were had. These are the things that were said. And guys, private message you when these idiots are in here, because you guys don't need to hear nasty messages. And it's just a waste of everyone's time. So please do message us, and we'll get rid of them. So Jane, you spoke with him last, not me. So
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Starts with, he called Rebecca. Rebecca recommended that he talk to me and Dave Freedom. So he called Dave and they decided to get me on the line. And we spoke with him and we said that that in our view, he shouldn't be in there. We are under the understanding that they've said he can get out with surety, because he did make an attempt to get out with one surety and it fell apart because he didn't know the surety, or the surety didn't know him. And they told the court that, or Pat told the court that he did know this guy for a while. And then it came out and that he didn't. So he got charged with perjury. So point being is the court appears to be willing to let him out with surety, right? So they haven't blocked him in. So we suggested, and the lawyer, he had a half of a bail review, okay? And it got canceled. It was a different lawyer than he has now, but it got canceled in the middle because supposedly the lawyer's computer got hacked. So they just shut it right down. Well, he should have had a right to have it resumed the next day or very soon after, like a day or so after, because they're supposed to put bail at the top of the list because we have a right to reasonable bail. So they can't be making you wait weeks for your court date. So this is like 2 months ago that he had half of a bail review. And the lawyer that he has currently wasn't doing anything that Pat knew of to tell us, or that we could see, to change that situation. So she should have been bringing back for a bail review, or bring a surety forward, like depending on where, because I don't know for sure what the criteria is for a surety. Like she may have to go back with the bail review and change that or something. I'm not sure. But either A or B, she should have been bringing back the judicial review, completing it, or facilitating surety, because he's got a lineup of people that are willing to to provide surety experience. So he said to us initially that, like, because we were recommending that because the lawyer is not working in his interest, that he should at least temporarily dismiss her. Like, he can bring her back again for trial, we said, but for the sake of the bail, remove her from the record and self-represent. And then he's entitled to assistance from duty counsel. Like, we would assist him too, like with hands-on work. Like, we had
100%. We always
you know,
do.
if we want to, like, help the sureties, like where to go or whatever, that kind of thing. And then duty counsel could help. And as what we know of the process, the surety is supposed to fill out a form. Then it's supposed to go to a JP for signature and approval. And then it gets presented to the court. And the duty counsel, if you don't have a lawyer, will facilitate that. So Pat said, yeah, okay, he's going to do that. So his girlfriend was asked to call the lawyer and tell the lawyer that he was going to remove her. Next thing you know, the girlfriend sends a note saying, Pat changed his mind. The lawyer's got something going on and he wants to stick with the lawyer. And for now, he's not going to do what we suggested. And then I said to the girlfriend, and I have this in text, right? So if anybody wants to call me a liar, I can show them the freaking text. So she says to me, I said to her that Rebecca said that some group put out a statement that Pat was going to take a deal. And and I said, there's a video. And she goes, what video? Where? What deal? And I said, well, you have to ask Rebecca to point you to that video. I haven't seen it. I'm just going by what she said. And then she said, and I said, but based on your reaction, I'm glad to hear that you know nothing of a deal. Like, I'm relieved that you know nothing of a deal. And then she answers, well, it's resolution. They're talking about resolution. The lawyer's seeking a resolution, and she's going to be asking the Crown what the Crown wants. Okay, so that's deal. That's deal they're talking about. And I have that in text. So the next thing you know, I made a live saying that that's not a good thing for him to do because he has options to pursue. Like, I'm not saying that I know if he does what we're recommending that he's going to get out for sure. I mean, it's going to be up to the court at the end of the day, but not trying is not a good idea. Just sitting there rotting, you need to actually try, move your ass or move your lawyer's ass or whatever the case might be. But anyways, I got on live and I said, if he takes a deal, that'll be selling out everybody because it'll be agreeing that you did something illegal by being in the trucker convoy. And that's not, that hurts everybody else too, that kind of thing. So then Pat calls me flipping out, telling me, shut my fucking mouth. He's not taking any fucking deal. His lawyer is working on his bail. So just shut the fuck up or something's going to happen to me in a couple of days. He's going to do something. I don't know what the hell he's even talking about. But I didn't shut my mouth. And I told him I'm not shutting my mouth. And then I made another live saying, well, now it seems that he's saying his lawyer's working on his bail. So we'll see how that works out. And I'm not going to back away from this because what they're doing to Pat, if they get away with it, they can do it to everybody. And like we said right at the beginning, when we decided that we wanted to try and help, we don't like him. We don't like many things he's done in the past are very unethical. I just generally don't like the way he conducts his so-called freedom fighting. But who cares?
Yeah.
He doesn't belong in jail for being part of a peaceful protest. And that's personal. I take that personal. That's my right. When they're violating his right, they're violating my right. And exactly. So I'm not going to stand down and I'm not going to take a position that, this is Pat, so I shouldn't have anything to say about it or do anything. As a matter of fact, we're making a complaint to the ombudsman for a number of things. First of all, they can't the video, like the court's open now, so the court's there, the clerks are there, the Crown's there, but they're not bringing the inmates in. Mm-hmm. They're leaving them at OCDC, and they have a really substandard video system.
The whole place is substandard. It's bad.
Exactly.
It's
they can't hear. They can't hear. Like, it sounds like Peanut's parents, like, so they don't even know what the fuck's going on. And then there's also not enough staff to facilitate them to speak with their lawyer. It takes a week to talk to your lawyer. So they're not able to get instruction. The lawyer needs to be able to get contact to get instruction. So, and then there's another thing that we found out just today, confirmed today. When they do their bail hearing, all they write down on the record, if they're denying bail, is bail denied. Okay, well, fuck off, bail denied. There needs to be a record of why the bail is denied, and there's grounds like what is it called, primary, secondary, and tertiary grounds. And then there needs to be a reason for that. So it wouldn't have to be a long statement that they need to put down, but they need to say, for example, they're concerned that they might be a flight risk because in the past, when they get out on bail, they took off and didn't show up in court, or they let them out and they reoffended. Or the third one, the tertiary one, is if the crime is so serious that the public would be losing confidence in the judicial system if they let them out. Those are the three reasons. So those reasons should be put in the statement coming out of the bail hearing, and just not all the details, but just scantly. Okay, like they could just say, well, in the past, like not all the details of it, but in the past he was let out and he skipped bail, like he didn't show up, so therefore we're not letting him out. So at least you know what you're looking at. But now the way they've left it is if you have a bail hearing and they deny bail, the only way that you can get the details, like the lawyer can get the details, they have to put in for a transcript, which takes about a week to get, and it's also very expensive. So that's a hindrance to reasonable bail. That whole, like the several things that I've just identified, that package is a process that's a hindrance to reasonable bail, and that is everybody. That affects everybody.
100%.
So that needs to change. Yeah. So they've already called the ombudsman today, and they seem very interested in that, because we're not asking them to intervene, to let them out on bail or do whatever. We're asking them to clean up the system, bring them to court in person, because we have a right to a fair, open hearing. Well,
Yep.
It's not a fair, open hearing if you're sitting in the jail, you're not even in the fucking hearing, and you can't hear properly. It's like freaking ridiculous. And then that's not reasonable to have bail denied. That's it. 2 words, bail denied. It doesn't even explain. There should be a what do you call it? There should be a decision from the court with reasons. That's a standard. Like the ombudsman can do something about that, because decisions are supposed to have reasons. All government decisions are supposed to have reasons, because we're not living under tyranny. We're living in a democratic society, so all their decisions are supposed to be fair and reasonable. And going bail denied is not fair and reasonable. Anyways, that's the end of it.
Yeah. And is his lawyer any good? No, he's still in jail.
Yeah, I don't
No.
think so.
His lawyer is not good. And
we're looking at a lawyer now that's acting very differently. He's on everything, and he answers even Dave. Like there was some language issues. The family's French and the lawyer's English, and they weren't quite understanding what was going on. So Dave got involved, and he's facilitating, to get them to understand, and the lawyer's cooperating with that. And he's also taking like you see him taking the steps that he's supposed to take. You know what I mean? He's not leaving him there for 2 months and just, I'm busy
3
next
months.
week.
And also people are asking, well, is this new lawyer good? Well, no, because he's still in jail. He went to court on Tuesday and he's still there.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that if he had taken the advice from Jane, he would be out. His lawyer said to him, "Oh, I'm busy. I can't help you next week. I've got a big trial."
Yeah.
Excuse me? And also, first of all, so when I talked to Pat, I'll be honest, he sounded worn out, and he's like, he said multiple times, I need to go home. He missed his son's birthday. He missed his son's graduation. Look, I've said it before. I'm not a fan of Pat. And I even told him I spoke with his girlfriend. I said, I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of the shit that you do. But that is not the point here. There's a right. This is a rights violation. And by the way, I've determined that we are human rights defenders. That is what we're doing. and this is what we have been doing. And it's actually sanctioned by the government. So we are human rights defenders. And I can't stress this enough, there is nothing more serious than a rights violation. And I don't care what it is. It's a rights violation. And what
somebody just put in about the book, Luciferian Effect. I have a PDF of that. If people want it, it's really good.
You want to share that with me, and I can put it up somewhere.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get it up now.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So anyway, so when I talk to him, like, this is the thing, right? And look, I don't know Pat King, and I don't know where he is. Like, is he doing things just for money? Is he like, I don't know, and I don't care. But what I do know. Oh, hold on.
That was me. Sorry, because I went to my computer.
Yeah, what I do know is that when I spoke to him, he sounded tired. He sounded very fatigued, and he was sounding worn out, which is the perfect time to get somebody to take a deal because they're tired. And so it could be a matter of him just wanting to get out. By the way, JLPR, you're messaging just me, just so you know, you're not messaging the group. Just change your send to, so you know so that you're messaging everybody. And so anyway, so the lawyer was not helping him at all. The lawyer was like, I'm busy. I got this big case. I can't get you out. I know you've been in the shittiest jail in all of Canada for 3 months, but I'm busy now. The guy's paying this lawyer, okay? And so as soon as we came along and started poking the bear, and Pat probably said, hey, listen, I'm going to ditch you because all this other stuff. Oh, no. I'll help you. I got this. Please,
and first you said, I'm going to help you get a resolution.
Yes.
And then after my video, then he said, no, it's not a resolution. She's going to help me with my bail. And all the more power to him if he does that.
Yep. And the thing is, guys, listen, as far as we're concerned, we're done. We tried because we've seen a man who's been held, detained unlawfully. Again, it's a rights violation, and he needs to go. And sorry, I'm just fly swatting. Got it.
Well, we're still doing things that are going to help him because we're demanding that they bring the prisoner to court.
Yes.
We're demanding that they knock off this denied bail thing.
Yep.
And so, but whether he, stays with his lawyer and what the lawyer does, but I would imagine now with all the attention on it, she's going to do what she's supposed to do now. I'm thinking.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's up to Pat now. We did what we could to help him, and to Jane's point, it's not like we're just washing our hands of it, but it would be up to Jane, up to Pat. So that's the update on Pat, just so everyone's aware. And there you go. So another update that I wanted to share. So the injunction for Ottawa was submitted, received. We got a file number. We got a case number.
And the judicial review too.
Yes. Judicial review and injunction was filed. We have a case number, guys.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm just reading a comment. City of Hamilton is terminating 500 plus employees in June 1st because the mayor and 5 out of 15 councillors voted against staff. Well, then vote them out. Take their seats, guys. Hashtag take back your city. Anyone in Hamilton, get into your city council. Get these yahoos out of there. The time is right. Hold on that one, Amanda. No, it's okay. It's good. The time is right, guys. And I also, I apologize. I forgot to put this in the chat. Anybody who wants to put forth a platform for a trustee seat or city council, we are happy to support you. We're happy to give you a voice, obviously providing that you're not going to be enforcing any type of stupid policies around COVID, because then we won't support you.
Or charter.
Yeah. Amanda almost spit out her water. I could see her. So yeah, guys, anybody who's interested in going for a city council seat or a trustee seat, and Scott, you would be fantastic. You got ours.
Yes.
You're muted, Amanda.
Actually, Scott's in my city. Scott for mayor. Scott for mayor.
Yeah, you're muted, Amanda. I saw your lips moving, but we couldn't hear you. Hashtag take back Hamilton. Hashtag take back your city.
So
Get
what I
these
said was
clowns out of
Scott
there.
not may run for council, will run for council. Come on, dude. We need you.
Do it. Do it. Scott, do you want to give a quick update?
Sure. Not too much to update, but I have. Here, I'll get my video going. Hey.
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you guys. I love your Zooms. Update is well, I did this video with Rohan at.
I shared it in the email today.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, so
I'll put it in the chat.
watch that, and then the number of people on my Facebook group jumped from I think I was at 15 or something up to.
Great. I'm suing for 10.
Whoops, sorry, that was me.
Oh, you started, yeah. Jumped to about over 120 now. So great support there, and yeah, on the legal front, my trustee that I'm suing, just to give a brief overview of the situation. I'm suing my trustee for $10,000 for harm done to my daughter. And I sent her notice of liability, and now with no response at all. And then recently I sent the invoice, and you were right, Rebecca, once she got the invoice, and I got a response from the lawyer. And their lawyer is part of the OC, the school board, but I'm suing the individual. And the school board lawyer is saying, no, you can't sue the individual. You have to sue the board because it was a board decision. But she's responsible for voting in favor and making this decision. And she's my school region trustee. So she's the one closest to harm being done in my view, right? So this is my argument. So so I'm going to continue I'm not going to do it third.
Scott, something I don't think we mentioned to you before, but it just popped into my mind now. You can ensure that you go after her directly if you make a case for bad faith. If she knew or should have known, like they should have known that masks are harmful, like the occupational health and safety standards.
Sounds like it would
clear.
be difficult to prove, though, Jane.
What? That she should have known?
I mean, their perspective, right, is just that, Ottawa Public Health recommended that people in indoor environments, including schools, wear masks. So they're kind of deferring to this recommendation and changing a recommendation to a rule, and that's a distinct.
Yeah, but those occupational health and safety standards are firm, and they say that the not to use those standards will cause serious harm or death. That's what it says in the research.
They need to ensure that.
So that's how do you say, relevant common knowledge.
Okay. And again,
it's not some backroom thing that hardly anybody knows about or whatever. That's front and center stuff. It's much more prevalent and much more well established than a little Directive 6 that they threw out without any basis to it. Like these recommendations that are made under the occupational health and safety standards are years and years of studies showing that they need to increase the oxygen level because sometimes masks have to be used, right, where there's lots of toxic dust and different things like that. Well, these are the standards they must regard. They have to do a fit test, or that person can't work in that area. They have to move them somewhere else. And so if you have asthma or heart condition, all that, you cannot have a mask. Then they have to test the air in the area where you're working. They have to fit the mask to each person. And the air quality has to be higher than normal to offset
the oxygen level,
reduced level. And then they have to have a monitor to make sure that the carbon dioxide level isn't too high. And then if it's an unsterile environment, the mask has to be changed every half hour to 3/4 of an hour. And these aren't just sort of desirable high standards. These are hard and fast rules. If you break those rules, there's severe fines. And if you continue to break those rules, jail. Okay. So it's not just a little, oh, it would.
Right. And this is a Ontario Health and Safety, Jane, standard that I can reference. You've gone on mute, by the way.
Okay, these are federal occupational health and safety standards, and in there it says that all the provinces have to embrace those standards. And did you send a copy, Rebecca, of the consent for mask? Did you get that?
I'm not sure if I did. Just give me 1 second. I have to answer a question to my husband here. Just give me a quick second.
Right.
Okay,
so
we made a consent form for mask that says that, like, there's two of them. There's one for your children in school and there's one for employees. So we're saying that consent is given under the understanding that they're going to implement the necessary conditions to make the use of masks safe. And then we outline those and we give the reference, the what do you call it? The studies, the reference to the studies.
Right. That's informed consent. Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know what? That I put that up on YouTube.
I'm gonna put that in the chat for you guys right now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I put that in YouTube, and they took it down. And it's a consent form, for fuck's sakes. Anyways, I thought that was
so. I wonder is because you mentioned that her having privy knowledge to that information might be make her even more liable.
Well, it's relevant information. It's out there. You know what I mean? Front and center. Right. And ignorance of the law, right? It's the law.
That's no excuse.
Law.
Yes, and also I want to note too that sorry, I'm looking for mask consent, and I'm not good at multitasking apparently. There was a TDSB board meeting, and Roman Baber was on there, and it was when there was some concerns that they would be enforcing a vaccine policy, and in that meeting, they said, well, we can't do that because that's outside of our scope because it's a medical procedure.
Yeah. So is a mask too.
That's what I'm getting at. So they know they've crossed the line. They know that they can't do this. That's why they can't enforce it. So trust yourself. You know it's wrong. You know you're right. And I want to say somebody shared a hashtag in the chat. Hashtag trust Scott for trustee.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
just remember on Roncarelli and versus Duplessis, the moment anyone acting as an agent of the state steps out of their authority because they are violating your Canadian Bill of Rights, they are no longer under the protection of the vicarious liability of Section 25. They are personally reliable. They can be held personally accountable, and you need to inform them of that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You exceed your authority because you violate my rights, then you're in trouble. End of story.
Exactly.
Rebecca, is that the case law that you sent me?
Sure is. That's that beautiful case law I sent you earlier.
So I do plan on amending the notice of liability with that case law, and I will give them additional, because I'm a fair person, an additional 7 days to retract the mask mandates with that new
information.
That new case law information. And if they don't, then I'll continue with the 45 days.
And you see how important that is, because they do have immunity. Like if they've caused harm by some policy that they bring in under their authority with the school board, then the school board's responsible, unless it's bad faith. Okay, so if they've walked outside their authority, that's not protected. So there's two things. There was one that I was mentioning, which is bad faith, and Amanda's is beyond your scope. They're beyond their scope. Of their duties.
Authority.
Yeah. So 2 times 2, she's going to get it right in the ass. And I understand and I understand that they told you that you can't go after just the one. You have to send it to them all.
That's what they said.
Yeah. What I would do and I'm not recommending you do it. This is just my personality. What I would do is I would send them a polite letter back saying that you recognize that their concern, you could recognize the lawyer's concern that all people be advised of their liability.
Mm-hmm.
So in that vein, they have your permission to forward your letter to your trustee to these other trustees for their review. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just for their, like, FYI, you know, somebody in your district may be kicking your ass tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, I love it. I may take you up on that. I will pass all my information through you guys, and I appreciate you just kind of vetting that and helping me out and giving me these ideas. I'll do the work. I'll clean up the documents. Once I get a sign off from you, I love it. I've never felt so empowered, you know, and I owe it all to you guys. Really, thank you so much, Stand4Thee.
Are you on Telegram?
I have the app installed. I don't really use it though.
Well,
oh, I think we need to get you on Telegram, sir. We got some groups for you.
Okay, let's go.
All right. And like I said, Scott, how long has it been? September 2020 since I've been doing this. And you are the first person to come forward with your own initiative. Not that other people haven't taken initiative, they have. But you are the first person to create your Facebook group, to start a group, to
take an action. You took an action. Like
in
that's
this
I'm
capacity.
Following in your footsteps.
Yeah, progressive NOL.
Honestly.
So there's next steps to it.
Taking it to another level.
Because the other letters are just like FYI, right? Like if you just kind of outline things and say, hey guys, but yours is, okay, hey guys, and I'm coming for you if you don't smarten up.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to change. And you know, at first I believe that, you know, we needed. It was kind of like the death by 1,000 cuts that Amanda was talking about earlier.
I'm working on that, by the way.
But I feel like this one cut is, in my case, may make the difference and may change it, and I really hope so.
Yeah.
Because now the lawyers are involved and they're talking about it.
Yeah.
You got
and they have
the
a
run.
stupid. Yeah, and it's not up to them who you sue.
No. And like, could you kindly sue all of us? Could you kindly sue everybody so then we can just like get the board involved and say, nah, can you kindly fuck yourself over at my request?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
All right, cheers.
All right, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Rebecca, before you move on, I sent you Lucifer Effect by email.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you. I did.
You want to put it in the chat?
Okay, let me grab that. I'm also going to repost. I just put it in here for you guys, but I did put the school. It's called a school consent, but it's the content is there for. It's the same for everybody. Okay, so
yeah, you'll like that, Scott. You'll love it.
Yeah, you will. Okay, 1 second here.
Chris Daly was very instrumental in the preparation of that document.
Chris Daly. Oh my gosh, you remind me. I saw him when I went for my treatment, and I was supposed to message him and got busy. Okay. All right. So I think we covered off everything that we were going to talk about tonight. I'll get those two. Yes, traveling in airports. So a couple of things. Number one, who's going to be at the Parliament tomorrow? Ministry of Transport? Is that? Oh, Chris Daly? Oh, Chris Daly's going to be there. Okay, cool. So guys, listen, I don't even, there's just not enough apologies in the world for our tardiness, but there's just been so much stuff happening, and there's been some personal stuff that happened this past week that required immediate attention. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but it's not been great, and it did distract us, which is what's been happening this entire time.
But I can say that we have all the material prepared for Omar, like the NOL, as well as the actual lawsuit. And Brian is diligently working on collecting the confirmation And I have a stack for you that I scanned today. I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
I think he
I've
has
got
a
some help.
shitload of them too. So
I got some help.
and you know what we're going to need those for? For the criminal charges too, like for the convoy criminal charges. And we'll ask them, like when we get, because they've all said that they'll do an affidavit. So we can ask them, can we put down that this is to support, so to make it general, like anybody that has either charges or claims, because Brian has the claim, He doesn't have charges, but he has a claim. And James Bowder has charges and a claim, actually. So he could use them as well. And we've got something like 400 or 500 by now.
I just thought of something, Jane.
What's that?
Those could also be used for the senators and MPs that want to go after those.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Let's get on that. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll send you that tomorrow. There's about I don't know, about 40, something like that. And then Brian, I'm gonna go up to Parliament Hill, I think, tomorrow. I'm feeling a lot better. And I'll get, if he has them with him, if he has any more, and I'll scan them and send them to you. And then we'll send an email out to everybody. And you know what? If anybody on the call tonight wants to be part, we need a team to assist with the affidavits. We can show them. I mean, they don't have to know how to begin with. We can show them, but because there's going to be 400 or 500 people. I don't have the time. I don't think you and Amanda have the time either.
JLPR, I just sent you my email address, so message me and we'll connect, okay?
Oh, somebody, Colleen, is willing to help.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, awesome.
Oh, somebody else too.
I
Ms.
see.
B. Ms. B.
I see. So guys,
there's two.
Message, I'm going to give you my email address.
Oh,
and
another one. There's another one, JLPER. Yeah.
I'm all over it, Jane. All over it.
Oh, I love it. MO. Oh,
and
look at that. See, we're going to win this fucking war.
We already are winning.
Yeah, we are winning, but we're going to totally win.
I'm putting in all of our email addresses so that we don't miss anyone.
Okay, let's get a team going for this week.
Okay, so anyone in Ottawa, Jane will be at Parliament Hill. Jane, can you make sure someone has a fuck Trudeau sign? I want to make sure that they're not.
Oh,
like, no.
I'll stop at the dollar store and get one. I'll bring one myself.
Actually, get a white T-shirt and write on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure that they're not.
Jane, be the billboard. Be the billboard.
Yeah, be the billboard you want to be.
Yeah, and then you let me know what happens, because if they're not holding it up their bargain, then we go after them, right?
Yeah, just hope they don't start pushing me around with my arm.
We got one more win too, Christina Pablos.
Oh, I know, I love her.
Would you like to say hi, Christina?
Oh, she's on?
Yes.
Oh, yay.
So many wins, you guys. What time on the Hill tomorrow, Jane? Noon?
I guess 12.
Okay. Brian will be there as well.
Okay.
Christina, unmute if you'd like, and if you'd like to say hello, because there's just so much win everywhere. We're winning. We are winning.
Yeah, and I love Christina's in the mall way back when they first brought the Vax Pass in. That was so exciting.
All right. Well, Janet's going to be there tomorrow. She'll see you there, Jane.
Okay.
Sally's going to be there. Look at that. You guys are so awesome. You guys are awesome.
So we have a team. We have an affidavit team.
Well, we will. Yes.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people.
Sorry, Christina's still in Spain. Yes, Jane, we will get a team together. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll show them how. And then, but if they follow up, and we'll get the 500 people to contact that committee or whatever, and get their affidavits rocking and rolling.
Awesome. So you got a lot of people that'll be at the Hill tomorrow. So that's awesome.
Okay, good.
Okay, so let's go into Q&A, because I think we covered everything off. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Nathan. You've been very patient, my friend. I know you put your hand up a while ago. If we take questions, we just cannot get through the evening. So thank you so much for your patience, Nathan. Let's hear what you got.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to apologize. I'm in a bit of a noisy environment.
That's okay.
This is the quietest place that I can be at this time. Earlier today, after about 3 months of waiting, I finally got a call back from Service Canada about my employment insurance claim. It was denied. This is despite the fact that I was put on leave without pay after submitting a religious exemption form and getting that denied as well. I was told that I could appeal the decision first to Service Canada and then to another organization outside of Service Canada. And I was wondering if I could get some legal advice on how I could best maximize my chances of getting the denial overturned.
Actually, I can answer that. I can answer that.
Go ahead.
Boshena's friend, Boshena, same name, came this week because she has the same situation. And I wrote a response for her to use. So I don't have it, but she has it. So I'm just going to send her a text right now to ask if I can give her number is it, what's his name, Jonathan?
Sorry, no, Nathan. If you want, Jane, if she sends the letter, we have an area up on the site. We could put it on the site.
Okay.
Yep. And then Nathan,
I'll text her right now. So you want me to get her to send it to you, and then you can send it to Nathan?
Yeah, okay. Nathan, I'm going to I posted my email, but I'm just going to post it again. And then message me.
I believe I have your phone number.
Oh, perfect. Then call me.
Does it begin with 416?
Yeah, we'll leave it there, please. I'll put it in the chat. Okay. I don't need to get harassed more than I am already. Not that you good people are harassing us. With the people that think that, we should, I don't know, comply with stupid rules. I don't know. Anyway, so that's great. So you call me and yeah, we'll get to that letter. I'll put it up on the site as well because we've got kind of a package there. So we'll do that. Okay. Nathan?
I have another commitment that I need to attend right now.
Okay. You call me.
Would I be able to call you later tonight? Or
no, actually call me tomorrow or Sunday.
Tomorrow or Sunday. Okay.
Thank
you very much.
Okay, no problem.
Talk to you later,
Thank you.
Rebecca.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Nathan. All right, Stacy. Hi, Stacy. How are you? You're muted.
One thing that needs to be added in there is the stuff that woman gave us about what was it? Yep. The benefit of the doubt. I didn't put that in, and there's a couple of other points that she put in, so that should be added to this.
Okay. Okay, great. So Stacy, you are up next. You just need to unmute yourself. Hi.
Hi. One thing I was just wondering, I wrote that letter to my MP.
Yeah.
And of course there's been no response, and end of June would be the 3 months.
Okay.
So are you guys still publishing the ones that don't, the results of the questionnaire?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Okay. And the other thing is last week I stumbled across, I live in the north, and they have exceptions for travel in the north.
Where's the north?
Well, Yukon.
Okay.
But also Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and also northern there's northern.
You're cutting out. I suspect it's the only way for you to leave your province leave. Yeah. It's the only way for you to travel is by air, because I know in the winter times you guys are cut off sometimes. Is that why, do you think? Oh, we may have lost her.
Actually, I'm not sure that they're not more cut off in the summer, because in the winter they got the ice roads.
Well, I know in some areas they can only take helicopters over.
Helicopters and planes in the summer. And
so there's Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, Stacy, go ahead.
Okay, so like Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Northern Ontario, they're all listed. There's these exceptions for unvaxxed people. It's on the federal government's pages.
Do you have a link? Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah, I was going to put all the links in the chat.
Awesome.
Are you guys still doing that travel too? That travel?
Yes.
Because they are not allowing us to fly, and yet here at plain day is the federal government's exemptions.
Okay. Yeah, please put that in the chat. Please put that in the chat. Mm-hmm. And I'm just about to post. Okay, I'm putting in the Luciferian, hopefully hold on one second. I'm going to put that PDF. Yeah, send us, there we go. And then Stacy, just in case, I'll give you my email address as well. And then
Okay.
maybe you would like to participate in this as your own, because in addition to all of the other violations, in your case, you were told, well, there's exceptions, and now they're being told, no, you can't. So
We were never told there were exceptions. We've been told right from the start that none of us are allowed on the planes.
So I'm saying on the website it says there's exemptions. Sorry, just to clarify.
That's
But
really
the
bad.
federal government just
That's
Yeah.
really bad. That's
I know.
involuntary confinement, because
Yeah.
if they have no other way out.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
like Canada is involuntary confinement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and that's a great. This is a great point. And when I say this, what I'm not saying is that the Ukrainians should be forced into vaccine. What I'm saying that we shouldn't be forced into vaccine. And I'm sure we all know that Canada. By the way, it's not just Ukrainians. Okay, all refugees, all people coming as refugee status, do not have to be vaccinated. So that's a seasonal workers, so migrant workers. And refugees. So there's a particular class of people who are exempt from the vaccine, and we shouldn't even be.
Section 1B. Section 1B.
And Section 1B, guys, is the right to equal treatment of the law and protection of the law. And so someone had asked earlier about the Bill of Rights sections that we were speaking to. And for this, it would be Section 1A, which is the right to life, liberty, security of person, not to be deprived thereof except by due process of law. And Section 1B, which is, there we go, which is the right to, as I just mentioned, equality and protection of the law. And clearly those things are not happening. So violation of our rights, therefore, going to sue your ass. So Stacy, you've got my email.
Okay.
And I've got your. I'm going to just post this second chat, link, because it went directly to me, to the group, so everyone can see that. And then there you go. Awesome.
okay.
Well, Stacy, I'm so sorry to hear that, and we'll let's be in touch, and then you can do your own. You can do your own personal NOL that will be a little bit different, because you are literally being held hostage in your province.
Oh yeah. Well, they used at the beginning for 2 years they had us go through a check stop on the
Illegal.
Alaska highway to even get in and out of the Yukon.
Illegal.
It's
Illegal.
just-
And one of the guys I know, he challenged it, and he went through. He refused to sign their papers, and they harassed him for weeks at work. The CO was flashing her gun at him, trying to threaten him, and he just laughed and told him to
Wow.
fuck
Oh
off.
my God.
You
And
are
then
welcome to send them our way.
Then he got a thing to go to court, and I told him, he came into where I work, and we were talking, and I told him, I said, they're not going to follow through with it. They're not
No.
going to follow through with it. I said, you just challenge it, you go to court, you
Yep.
just go through the process, nothing's going to happen to you. And he said, okay. And he did. And he said that morning they phoned and they said they canceled it.
I don't know anybody. I
See?
don't know a single person who has challenged the quarantine that has lost.
Yeah.
So good. So
Yeah.
Stacy, you can kick their butts too.
And
That's
on
the
June 1st,
ones that are using the Bill of Rights and stuff, and even
Yeah.
some that aren't. But
Yeah.
if you don't use the Bill of Rights, if you don't use your rights, you could lose, because they have
Yeah.
the actual policies to uphold. But if you use Bill of Rights, it just completely defeats all of it.
Yeah.
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 And on June 1st, a bunch of people here are getting together, a bunch of Yukoners, and we're all going to share stories, like the EMS drivers, some nurses that got forced out. We're all going to share stories. So they want me to talk because I've been challenging the COVID cops here, and I've
Right on.
never got a ticket.
Oh,
Right
good
on.
for you guys. Good for you guys. That's awesome. What's my video? off?
So maybe I'll bring up you guys and direct people to you more.
Oh, you got it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Anytime, please.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacey.
We're doing a self-representation every second Monday of the month at 8 o'clock,
Okay.
exclusively on that. So answering questions, and passing material along.
So the next one
Okay.
will be June 6th. No, wait, the 13th. Second Monday would be the 13th.
Yeah.
June
Okay.
13th. But of course, anyone's welcome to message us and they're welcome to join the Friday Night Zoom because, as you said,
Oh wait, no, the next one is coming up. It's next week. It's still May. It's still. Oh no.
no,
Oh, you're.
no.
Oh yeah, it has to be in June.
Yeah, that's right. You want it to be sooner.
No, but wasn't it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but every second Monday is June 13th.
Oh yeah, we're past. You're right. You're right. June.
But of course, you're welcome to be here. You're welcome to join us anytime. We're here every Friday, 8 o'clock. We always take questions. So, all right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. Thank you. I'm just going to answer this question quickly that I saw come up about ArriveCan at the land border. So I don't answer their questions. And Jane's been on the phone with me a couple of times. Amanda was on the phone the one time as well. So I just politely decline. And I tell them I'm not answering those questions. You're violating my rights. It's personal and confidential, and I'm not going to discuss my medical information. And the other times I've gone through, public health has been there, and then I get a ticket. And the last time I went through, there was no public health officer there because I went through if you go through after 6:30, I think it is, I show my passport, and it depends on the situation. I think after 6:30, the public health leaves, so there's no public health officer there. And so when I went through, I forget the name. It was, Jane, do you remember the name of that crossing? At the bottom of the 416, a weird little place. I forget.
Oh, Morrisburg? Was it Morrisburg?
No. Anyway, it was such a small border that the guy told me there was a toll booth. He's like, they get 2 people for the whole night coming through. And so I didn't, when I pulled up to the booth, they didn't even move me out of the booth area because there's just nobody coming through. So the guy asked me, would you like to speak to public health? No, I don't want to speak to public health. And then, he asked me some questions. I said, I'm not answering those questions. They're personal and private medical information. So first of all, they ask if I have a ArriveCan app, and I say no. And they say, why not? I say, because that's my phone. It's my property, and I'm not installing a government application on my phone. Yes, Ogdensburg, that's it. I'm not installing this on my phone because it's my property. And then and then they leave. They're probably calling somebody, right? They're calling somebody. Then they come back and they're like, okay, well, are you vaccinated? I'm like, none of your business. You don't even have a right to ask me. You're violating my rights. And then they go away and come back. Okay, well, would you like to talk to public health? No, thanks. Then he comes away, comes back. Then I was there for quite some time. And then they called the police on me. So then he gave me my passport, and he had 2 test kits on a piece of paper. I said, I'm not taking any of that. I'll just take my passport. Thank you. So he gave me my passport. And then I was waiting. I called Jane. I'm like, okay, they called the police on me. Should I wait? What should I do? And then, so the guy was like, so what happens if I leave? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, will I get arrested? They searched your car? What? They searched someone's car, Jane.
That's not allowed.
I'd be like, no, where's the warrant? Absolutely not. Oh, maybe it was the border police, the border services, though. I don't know what the rules are for that. They probably can, Jane. It's border services.
Yeah, look for contraband.
Yeah, because they were just trying to get him on something. So yes, please make sure, especially if you smoke cannabis, okay? If you are going through the border, make sure there's not a drop in your car. Please, people, nobody needs to get pinched for something stupid. We live in Canada. It's a little more free up here. I mean, it's legal down there, but the border, don't do that.
Well, it depends on what state you're in, though. Not every state is legal. Let's qualify.
But the borders, well, Michigan and New York are now, Buffalo, they sell weed at stores now. But still, you can't take it through the border, and you'll get a fine at the very least. Anyway, and then so the police came. I tried to school her, but we got into a little bit of a battle. She was trying to, I had my door locked and I wouldn't put the window down because that's what you do, because you don't need them sticking their hands in your car, opening your door, which 3 times in Ottawa, twice they tried to open my car door when I was going through the illegal checkpoints during the convoy. And I was like, that's why my door's locked. But anyway. And
I love this woman. She's so ballsy.
Well, I was on the phone with Jane. She's like, are you going to unlock your door? I'm like, no. And then she's like, are you going to put your window down? No, she didn't ask if I was going to unlock my door. She said, are you going to put your window down? I said, no, I'm not going to put my window down. You can hear me. I can hear you. And I said to her, it's for your safety and mine. And then I wanted to school her. So I was like, I wanted to give her shit. And so we got into a battle of stuffing the summons through the window. And I was like trying to stop her from putting it through the window because I wanted to give her shit. And then she stuck it in the window and took off. And I yelled out something like, you're lucky we don't live in China, la, la, la. And she was like, lady, get lost. By the way, Jane, when I got my disclosure, so she said I was rude and yelling at her. And I was like, no, I was just trying to make sure you could hear me. Anyway, I'd have night terrors if I traveled.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying you'd have night travel?
Honestly, can you imagine if you and I travel together? The shit we get into.
Keith says, oh yeah. Keith says I'd have night terrors if I traveled with Rebecca. No, you wouldn't, because it'd be great. It'd be great. You wouldn't have to show any vaccine status, and you wouldn't have to do a arrive can. It'd be awesome. It'd be great.
Okay,
Well,
I just like
Rebecca
to point out when I got stopped, I didn't get a ticket, and I didn't get.
I'm almost done. So that's what happened, guys. So that's how you get through. I'm not going to pretend that you're not going to get a ticket, and the thing is, do I even look remotely concerned? I'm not, because I'm going to use the Bill of Rights. And actually, I'm really looking forward. I'm really happy actually that I got a summons, because all of the other tickets, I've been waiting a long time for my court date. And now with the summons, I get to go in right away. And again, I'm going to be like, Bill of Rights, Bill of Rights. Okay, so I saw a question there. Gateway airports. Oh, I didn't know that about gateway airports. I didn't know that. Okay, let's get back to questions. We got 3 hands up. Sorry about that, guys. There was a question. I want to answer that. Kathleen, you're up next. And I'm going to eat a little bit of my dinner. So.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I have a very, very general question because, there are these maxims of law that are like timeless with these Latin, usually they're Latin, like, for example, like ultra virus. And I'm wondering if there's something like that applies to the situation that, for example, we have the Bill of Rights that was instituted in, 1960 somewhere, that says all these rights and liberties cannot be overridden, unless explicitly or whatever.
Expressly declared
expressly,
by an act of Parliament.
Exactly. And then 30 years later, you have like provincial health acts that say, we're imposing this on you, and all of these rules and regulations are notwithstanding any kind of act or law existing anywhere, provincially or whatever. So,
you know what I call those? I call those rinky-dinky bylaws.
Yeah, but that's like a catch-22 situation where it's like, who has precedence?
Well, listen to me.
Yeah.
Rinky-dinky. What does rinky-dinky mean?
I mean,
rinky-dinky. It means it isn't worth the paper it's written on. If you challenge it, that's why everybody's getting their charges dropped, because they're rinky-dinky bylaws. They didn't go through the proper parliamentary procedures to be able to override your rights.
So Jane, you have to understand here, and this is what Kathleen's issue is that she actually went in with the Bill of Rights about a month ago in Quebec. Quebec hasn't had any wins yet.
I know her background.
Yeah.
I talked to her before. Okay. They said that she had to give notice for the Bill of Rights, but
not only that, she went in and said, I haven't even received disclosure yet. I'd like to ask for disclosure. If you recall correctly, they said you don't get disclosure.
That's not in contradiction to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Primarily, those are rinky-dinky bylaws that are not lawful, and they can be completely defeated relatively easily. And if the court is trying to throw, monkey wrenches at her, they're dealable, because they're not legitimate. Like when they can come back with legitimate legislation or whatever that overrides your rights, or case law that overrides, okay, those are things you have to deal with. But otherwise, rinky-dinky.
Kathleen, do you have your transcripts yet?
They emailed me today saying they're like they're going to be sending it. Today I sent them a scanned signature saying that they can, it costs $28 here. So they'll be emailing that to me shortly.
Okay, so, and I sent you another message today of another thing of case law you need to look for. So maybe if the group that you're in, that we've got you in, can look for case law, whether it be Quebec or Supreme Court, or even another province.
Right.
Because a really big one that you need to remember to work on is the fact that they didn't even give you your right to request disclosure, and disclosure wasn't given, and you were told flat out disclosure is not required.
Okay.
That's goes to the right to full defense.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I just may ask one more question, Jane, and I know you're going to roll your eyes because you explained it, but it just went the way how I can convince them that my Bill of Rights argument is overrides Section 76 of the Quebec Code of Civil Procedures that says I have to, notify them 30 days ahead of time with they're not.
I explained that already. There are policies that require you to give notice if you're using the Quebec Charter, okay? But there is no requirements that you give notice if you're using the Canadian Bill of Rights.
Okay, but these requirements, like where is that written down? Because
But that's what. Okay, I'm going to try again. Okay, your requirements for the charter, they are written down. I guess you could call Steve Jett. He's done a lot of research on that, and he did find Quebec policies that require you to give notice to the Attorney General if you're challenging laws under the Quebec Charter. Okay, now. If you're using the Bill of Rights, there is nothing.
But the Section 76 that we're talking about, it says any and all laws that have to do with the constitutionality.
This is not constitutionality. The Bill of Rights is not the constitutionality.
Okay, but then it's probably operability.
Kathleen.
Well,
I think maybe that there's a challenge with the bill being the same vein as the Constitution, which it's not. It's like legislation. It's the same thing as legislation.
The bill is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if they had a policy like that, it would be undermining the Canadian Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
Because it would be adding conditions to the Canadian Bill of Rights from the province. They wouldn't have the authority to do that. It's a federal act.
I think the big thing here to remember, Kathleen, is that Canada is a nation founded upon the principles that recognize the supremacy of God. Okay? Supremacy of God means that God reigns supreme. The Canadian Bill of Rights recognizes and protects. It doesn't give you anything. It recognizes and protects. What does it recognize and protect? It recognizes and protects your human rights and fundamental freedoms. What are your human rights and fundamental freedoms? They are your God-given rights. Whether you use God as a spiritual entity or a legal entity, you need to use God here because God reigns supreme in Canada. Who cares about the Quebec Charter rights? Who cares about anything else? At the end of the day, it's about God reigning supreme, and you have free will, and God gave you that free will, and no one can take away that free will from you. Okay, which means you have, and that also, so with that free will and with your protected human rights and fundamental freedoms, you have the right to life, liberty, security of the person, and the right to enjoyment of property and not to be deprived thereof. And you have the right to equality before the law and equal protection of the law. So at the end of the day, God protects those rights. Nobody else, nobody gave them to you except for God, and nobody can take them away because God reigns supreme in this country, legally or spiritually.
Yeah. And it doesn't say we recognize your right as long as you give notice to the Attorney General of Quebec.
Bingo.
Doesn't say that. Doesn't say that.
So, and when you look at 1B, the right of the individual to equality before the law, equal protection of the law. It doesn't say the federal law. It doesn't say the provincial law. It doesn't say the municipal law. It says the law of Canada. That's all laws of Canada, jurisdiction, irrelevant. And then when you take a look, and it's going back to the preamble, it talks about the laws of Canada, not federal laws, just of Canada, all of Canada.
Okay? Also, too, if you're in Ontario, you don't have to give notice, okay? Because we don't. We're using it all the time, the Bill of Rights here and there and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't have to give notice. But if you're in Quebec, you have to give notice. Well, what does that mean? That means that's a violation. Like if they're trying to claim that you have to give notice with regard to the Canadian Bill of Rights also under this section, that would be a violation of section 1B, because it would be categories of people. Like Quebec people have to give notice to the Attorney General, but Ontario people do not. That's categories of people.
So they're
not
trying to get,
doing that.
I think what's happening, I think what's happening here is they're trying to get you to focus on Quebec Charter. And basically you can say, you know what, if you're going to focus on the Quebec Charter, that's fine. You can focus on the Quebec Charter. I'm going to focus on the Canadian Bill of Rights, because the Canadian Bill of Rights protects my God-given rights. And I'm telling you, I don't need to give you notice because there's no provision in the Canadian Bill of Rights that says I have to give you notice. Whereas the Quebec Charter says I have to give you permission. Fine, take the Quebec Charter, put it in the toilet with everything else, along with the Canadian Charter.
Along with that,
I'm sticking with the Bill of Rights. Now go F yourself.
Yeah, and along with section 76 or whatever it is, that's got to go in the toilet too, because it would be a violation of section 1B.
Yep.
Well, it's also a violation of the Quebec Charter for that matter. But yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you haven't eliminated your Canadian Bill of Rights, though. The court might accept that you have to give that notice for the charter, but you don't actually need the charter of Quebec Charter.
Right.
You can win your whole thing with the Canadian Bill of Rights, because that's what we're using here. We don't have a charter here.
Yeah.
So
we just have our Bill of
I
Rights.
think they're muddling the argument on you, which is making it more difficult for you. And I've given you that case law where the law says they have a duty to assist you procedurally. So keep in mind, I would focus on the errors of law. The errors in law that I would focus on would be the fact that they violated Canadian Bill of Rights to recognize and protected under not given but recognized and protected. And I would focus on the fact that you didn't get a right to full disclosure and therefore a fair trial, because you didn't get full disclosure and you were told that you weren't going to get full disclosure. The court basically told you to go F yourself. So you're going to turn that around on them in the appeals court and you're going to tell them to go F themselves.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you, ladies. All right.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, guys. So I did just post the 561-page PDF, the Lucifer Effect. It's in the chat for you folks to download now.
Can you email that one to me, Rebecca?
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm going to read it.
Milka?
Yes, hi everybody. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. I really love it.
Thank you.
So I had the same situation as Nathan. I received a letter from EI saying that Employment Insurance Act and its regulations, by that, those documents, they refused my EI. So, I didn't get that. So that's something that I would like help with. I would like to go to the court and see when somebody is defending himself or herself, because I have never been to the court. So, I really need help on that topic. Then I've been a healthcare worker for almost 20 years, and I was laid off because I refused the vaccine. I had religious exemption, but it wasn't accepted. That's another thing. Now, it's been about 7 months. When they last day I worked was October 29th. So it's about the time for me to do something. I would like to sue them as well, but again, I need to learn, and I do have time now because I am not working, unfortunately. And there is just one more thing. Because, I didn't get exactly what you said. I'm trying to go to Germany with my Canadian passport and with religious exemption. Is there any way I can do that?
Go to the United States and fly to Germany from the United States.
Yep. I've had, and even that is a crapshoot, is 50-50. I've had success getting through the States. I know people, Amanda and I went through the same day. She didn't get through. I got through. I know other people, one person went through, two people tried to cross Buffalo the same day. One family got through, another family didn't. It is really luck of the draw. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anyone who's done a religious exemption. I've heard.
I know one person who did it.
Who?
I can't tell you who, because I promised I wouldn't disclose the information. But having said that,
who is it? Give me the first and last name right now.
It was a Buddhist. It was a Buddhist. I think it was Buddhism or something like that they got the religious exemption on. Why? Because there's no freaking Pope who said get the vaccine. And they had the lifestyle. They had the lifestyle to validate it.
I talked to my real estate agent, and she said I am supposed to go to the lawyer, had my religious exemption stamped. Then I send it to the airplane, like a company, whatever whichever one
airline.
Airline. And then it takes about 3 weeks to 4 weeks for them to say yes or no. But I am originally from Bosnia and Herzegovina, I don't know if you know. So I've never had their passports. I mean, I had it before I came to Canada. So they told me the way I can leave the Canada, the only way is if I use my second, like a citizen.
If you have another passport, then that's probably your best bet. Like if you have like a passport from your home country, that's probably your best bet.
Yeah, because I have to buy the ticket to go one way. Yeah. And then when I want to come back, it's like disgusting. But I mean, I'm just wondering, so nobody has had anything done with a religious exemption?
I don't go, I frankly, I'm not really a fan of the religious exemption, because the religious exemption is declaring your status. In saying that, I completely understand, especially if your plan is to not return. I know Aeromexico, Delta Air, I've heard, Aeromexico, Delta Airlines, Etihad Air, a Polish airline, that they're taking, I don't know if they're taking exemptions or if they're taking people just like what it is. But again, guys, I don't know if you guys are meaning to message me directly, but just letting you know, you guys are messaging me directly. But again, another option is to go through the States.
Yeah, to try.
So, okay. But I mean, everything is a 50-50. Like, you never know what may happen. You may get back, you may not, like, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And for the EI, is there, and I haven't checked what's here. So is there a group that I could join and learn, or is there a schedule where people go to a court and I could go just to see what they're doing and how they're doing it?
Yeah, actually, there is an EI group on Telegram. Also on our website, stand4thee.ca, we have some information for EI, as well as a link to a Zoom recording, a Zoom that we did a few weeks ago. But it's one of those things where everything is like, you have to just exhaust all options because everything changes.
There's a question in the chat I just want to quickly answer. Why did Pierre create the charter when we had the Bill of Rights? Because Pierre is a fucking, sorry. Sorry, communist. Drop the F-bomb on the Zoom. He was he is a communist, was a communist. His son is a freaking communist. And they brought in the charter to usher in communism. It was a plant from 1982 to make today possible.
Yep.
And I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something bold. And why do the lawyers help them use the charter instead of the bill? Because the Bar Association supports communism. How do we know that? They supported Sven Robinson in 1980 to get rid of property rights to accommodate the right to breathe free air or fresh air and a clean environment, which are collective rights. Yeah. And that's the way communism characterizes rights, and they make those, and they're not really rights. They're like false flags or whatever. They're not real. Individual rights are real. Collective rights are just made up, because a right is a piece of legislation that protects you from abusive, exploitive treatment by the state. So how can the state be responsible for collective rights? Like, how does that work? It's stupid. And what they do with collective rights is they use those as excuses to override individual rights. That's communism. So the bar supporting communism.
Yeah.
And if they want to say I'm slandering them, let's go.
Yeah.
Let them put it on the record that they're not, and that they don't support that, and that I'm making it up.
I see one more comment, Jane. I'm just going to quickly. Someone said, so the Queen is a communist. Folks, the Queen doesn't make the laws. The Queen can't even veto the laws. All the Queen can do is is to give the ascension on the advice of council and all these other people and blah, 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 blah. Like there's a whole thing. And basically she's told to give it royal ascension. The Queen doesn't make laws. It doesn't make her a communist. It doesn't mean she's an innocent bystander, but it doesn't make her a communist.
No.
Oh, yes, actually. Someone shared, I'll see if I can find it. It was good. It was a meme that it was like, instead of Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it was Charter of Rights and Privileges. Yeah, exactly. So if you go on, I'll get the link for you to the page so that you can, did you have something you want to say, Kimberly?
Yes, I watched a documentary on the royal family. They're Nazis. They changed their name to Windsors because they had such a bad rap.
Yeah. Yeah, they all are. Yeah. So,
okay, as Amika, your question's been answered. So I'm just looking at, got a couple more people with their hands up. So,
and I'm going to put a link in the chat for you, okay? For the EI.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay.
Section 91 is actually the distribution of powers for federal government. Section 92 is the distribution of powers for provincial government. And it's not quite the way you've conveyed it in the message chat.
Okay, can I go?
Go ahead, Kat.
Okay. Thank you all. Thanks, ladies, for all you do. I really appreciate it. I just have a general question too. I'm just wondering if anyone here knows of anybody that has successfully filed a claim against their employer, and if so, did it go to court or
Richmond City?
Okay.
Oh yeah, Richmond.
Okay, and did it go to court, or is that the one where they just let them come back to work and give them back pay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because I found another job. I'm the one that was with Children's Aid, and I found another job. It's not in my field, but that's all right. And so now I'm going to. I've given my executive director the pre-notice. So next week I'm going to go ahead with my claim, and I'll let you guys know. But so nobody else here, has anybody gone to court, had to over this, do you know?
I know Bridget, and she's got a group that are doing it right now.
Okay.
They're developing their claim right now.
And where would I find that group?
Just a second, I'll see if I can get her number.
Thank you. If you want to go ahead with
Whoops, sorry. I'm getting some links for EI right now. So I'm multitasking. So, okay, thank you, Kat. And next up is M.
Hello, everyone. Rebecca and Jane and Amanda, first of all, I just want to tell you I love you guys. Thank you for what you're doing. I'm not even sure where my question fits into. My employer has recently initiated their official return to work. So people are going back on this hybrid model of working in the office Mondays and Wednesdays, and a lot of companies, the big companies, are doing this kind of thing. But they've implemented this pass. I guess it's a form of passport or something to get in for the day. So to get in for the day, you have to fill out an app, complete an app on the personal phone, or if you have a company phone, there's an app on it. And you have to do an online portal, complete this process to say, you have to answer these questions with, whether you're healthy, you've got signs of COVID, or, the kinds of basic questions we've been asking in various places for the last few years.
Yeah.
The original plan per the procedures actually shows that the questions that you had to answer were that you had to say whether you were vaccinated or whether you had a negative PCR test or some negative test anyway. So I guess what I'm saying is I work from home, so I don't have to go to the office. So really, I'm not in a position to have to push the envelope on this or do anything to take any action. But I really am wondering, it doesn't seem right. To get in the office that day, you have to complete this process online, electronically. I can't even think of what action I could possibly take. So I'm just throwing it out there to see if you guys have any ideas.
So it's a little hard to hear you. And what are you? Are you talking specifically about I guess it's attestation that they're asking you to do every day?
Yeah, that's it.
So
exactly what it is.
Right. So that would be again Canadian. Wait. This isn't a law. This is a mandate, an internal mandate. So this would be a privacy issue in OSHA. Hold on one second. Let me get that. It would be OSHA. Let me see here. Stand4Thee. So if you go to Stand4Thee, know your rights. There's a lot of good information in here. Let me just put this in the chat for you. This is know your rights.
Yeah,
also, guys. Yeah, so you're going to want to look at OSHA, and I think it's section 63 of OSHA, where your employer doesn't have a right to your medical information without a court order, a tribunal, or your written consent. And now they don't have a law, right? They can't say, well, and there never was a law. It was a public health mandate at the municipal level, but now they don't even have that. So they can't even say, well, the government, the public health officer told me to, because it doesn't. That's not. There's nothing there anymore. It's a personal, or it's a internal policy.
That never was legitimate anyway.
Yeah.
It was just a recommendation.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're doing this, and I also can't believe thousands of coworkers of mine are just complying, going along with it, and doing it.
Oh yeah, I know. I see it. It's like when I went to visit Jane. Everyone just whipping out their cell phones and showing their vax passes and their IDs to total strangers.
Yeah.
Total strangers.
So then what would be an action? An action would be I would just tell my manager I'm not doing that and I want to get in.
Yeah, that would be step one. I'm not doing this anymore, and here's why. And
I haven't done this at all. Okay,
well, there you go. So then you can reference the OSHA. I mean, there's nothing more to discuss. OSHA says that, hold on, I'm trying to do things at once again. OSHA states that, again, I believe it's section 63, bracket 1, you'll see it in Know Your Rights, that they don't have a right to access to your medical information, period. Done. Yeah. End of conversation. And if they keep it up, you're going to sue them for violating your privacy.
Yeah. And there's a case law for privacy too.
Yeah. Yes.
And would that be something that I might do an NOL for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll look at that further in this scenario.
Yeah. Well, the scenario would be you're violating my rights under OSHA, and there may be a few other pieces of. Oh, there'd be
Bill of Rights,
extortion, public incitement of hatred, assault. Someone acting in authority is assault. Okay, so I would have a look through the Know Your Rights section of our site and look at the things that make sense to you. Canadian Bill of Rights. There's case law on privacy. There's case law on consent, and OSHA is the big one. Are you in Ontario? I should have asked that.
Yeah.
Okay, OSHA applies then. Yeah. Okay. Have a look through it, and then have a look through the employer NOLs, and then if you have questions, let us know.
Yeah, but I would like to take an action, and I feel like I'm going to be the only one in my employer.
Well, I would start with the OSHA, and to email your boss and say, look, this is a violation of OSHA. You are violating my right to privacy here, and I'm not going to do it.
We ain't going to take it.
Okay.
Times I've blasted that in my car driving down the street.
Yeah, of course, they're recently following up for my, health status that I'm.
Yeah, so you're gonna start with OSHA.
as
That's
required.
yeah, that's the strongest one. Like I would just be like, OSHA
Anyway,
says.
thank you.
Yeah, OSHA says. You're welcome. You're welcome.
There's equivalents typically in most provinces of these laws that we're talking about. So there are equivalents of OSHA, which is Ontario, in other provinces. You just have to find the equivalents in the province you're in.
Oh,
Chantal.
hold on. They're using the ROA. Guys, that's not from the ROA. Okay? The Reopening Ontario Act had no mandate for employers. There was there was a vaccine policy for businesses to ask for vaccine status, but
not for employees.
Not for employees. And then if it was healthcare, well, that was directive number 6, and that directive number 6 is no longer active. It's been revoked.
No. And it was only recommendation, not legislation.
Yeah.
So it didn't override OSHA. And even in the Health Protection and Promotion Act, it says that any conflict between the Health Promotion Act and OSHA prevails.
Yes. Virginia, what's the OLRB? Because they're wrong. The employee mandate was never in the Reopening Ontario Act.
No.
So whoever is part of that needs to challenge that.
Yeah.
But in what context, Virginia? Oh, you are. So that was for you. You're appealing. Listen, if you need help, you message us. We'll help you with that. Screw that shit. It was not in the ROA. No, it was not. They're pulling a fast one on you, and I'm not surprised. Please feel free to.
Oh my God, I'm helping someone with a completely different battle with the OLRB. We're in the process of doing a request for consideration and a judicial review because they're absolutely corrupt. I cannot believe how corrupt the OLRB is right now.
Yeah. So Virginia, it's
we're sending all of them that have screwed this person around notice of liability.
Yes,
they don't rectify. We're freaking suing them.
Yes. Virginia, so get in touch with me because this is the question you need to say to them. Well, show me which section and subsection of the act specifically. Okay, it's in the Reopening Ontario Act. Show me where.
Yeah, it's not in there.
It's not. We know it's not. I know that act inside and out. It is not in there. Virginia, feel free to contact me, okay? iPad, you are
Virginia, there is a Canadian Bill of Rights.
Sounds like there's a Santa Claus. Yes, Virginia, there's the Canadian Bill of Rights. Jane, good one. God, I love you.
All right, iPad, how are you?
Hi, ladies. I'm good.
Hi.
Hi everyone. Hello,
Hi.
hello. So good to see you all still going strong, and all these wins is amazing. It sounds real good. Thank you so much. Praises all the time. I just have, I don't even know how to phrase this question. I'm still struggling with the last thing that I had mentioned very briefly and very covertly about what's going on in my housing co-op.
Oh, geez.
We've now, like, it went through, there was a motion that went through, but now they're trying to create a policy. So they're doing baby steps to try to move it up and up and up. And
I would suggest you start serving them.
Yeah.
It's done. You know what? It's done.
They're overstepping that case law that Amanda's talking about.
Yeah.
That would apply there. Like a co-op fucking director has no business directing your medical. It's not within their auspices. Like they're there to look after the physical, and that one neighbor doesn't bother the other neighbor. They have no business doing masks and vaccine and all that shit. None of their business. They're out of scope. So you can sue them personally. That's how good that case law is.
Yeah.
You don't have to sue the co-op. You can sue Nancy Little, Perky Nancy that's on the board trying to strut her friggin' Nazi shit. Just sue her. 35,000 is going to hurt most people. And if you have other people in the co-op that are willing to do it as well, or other people in your family, like your partner can do it.
Yeah.
As well. So that's times 2. So 35,000 times 2.
Which case law is that? Sorry, I missed it. I've been on that work.
That's the Ronsorellis.
Oh, it's the Ronsorelli. Okay.
Yeah, Ronsorelli.
Yeah. Use that for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I figured so. Sorry, I thought it was some other one. Next thing is, okay, so I am on the board as well. We're dealing with half and half here, and we're if one of us abstains because they're afraid, which we have, then we lose our position. So that's kind of what keeps happening. And then so the next thing is we have a lawyer's letter. Now, it's not the same lawyer I mentioned before, Rebecca. And sorry, guys, just for an overview, we have like one corrupt lawyer, but we have another one who is now saying very politely, oh, no, you can put a policy in place. That's still okay, which of course we can, right? But we're liable if we do so, and we know that. Yeah. Explaining that to a membership that doesn't understand, they start to get scared. So they're like, oh, okay, well, if the lawyer said policy. So I guess I was wondering, and again, I didn't know how to phrase this. I'm at work, so I'm doing a billion things here. But I'm wondering, is there anything that I can shut them down with? I know Ronsorelli, so thank you for that. But I mean, in terms of policy, can I just hit them back with something that says, I mean, I've seen a few things that I'm working with, but I just thought maybe something a little bit more powerful than what I've found. They can just be like, you have no business. Instead of it coming from my mouth, because as much as I give them, they keep hitting me with, you're not.
Well, are they trying to say they're enforcing the law? Like this is the law and they have to do it?
No, so that's the way they get around it, is they say, oh, well, we know it's not enforceable. And I'm saying, so then what are you trying to do with this policy? And they said, well, the lawyer said we can. I go, but I mean, you're liable, right? And they're like, with all due respect, you're not a lawyer, Natalie, so we're not going to listen to you.
You know what? Show them. Show them. I'm kidding. You're right. I'm not a lawyer. Here's your notice of liability. Here's your small claims court. We're going to court. Enough of the talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need much else besides that case law.
Yeah. Furthermore, this is an employment issue?
No, it's a housing corporation.
Housing
corporation. Okay.
So
you can look at your own bylaws and see if it says that they need to manage the health of their whatever participants.
Well, there's a very gray line there. It's not up to interpretation. So we've done.
What does it say? What does it say?
No, it's not. No.
What does it say?
No, they just say the well-being, right? So then they're like, oh,
no, they're not responsible for the well-being.
Exactly.
They're responsible for the well-being of the building, not the people.
Exactly. But then they say, oh, it's about keeping the community safe, because that's another thing.
Yeah. Well,
so it's like, well, here we go with all.
But listen, you're going to talk blue in the face with these people.
Exactly.
So just take.
That's communism.
Do an NOL.
That's communism. That's communism. When they're trying to look after the collective right over the individual right. That's communism.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead, Amanda.
So inform and educate and give them a chance to rectify. And when they don't, get that small claims lawsuit drafted, file each and every one that you can attach with some kind of a letter with their name attached to it, or a vote with their vote attached to it, and then serve it to them, so you can basically send them a message to go F themselves.
I just thought of something.
Thank you.
I just thought of something. There is some landlord and tenant board coverage now, right?
For
eviction. Like if they try to say, oh, you're not getting your vax, you're getting evicted.
This is masking.
Well, masking, whatever. Yeah. Like if I'm just trying to say, if it's attached to eviction, it's regardless. Yeah.
It isn't attached to eviction as yet, because what they're trying to do is, well, they have already said, no, we know it's not, we know it's not enforceable. But the problem is they're taking these baby steps, because the corporation that we're attached to is also, suggesting vax passports, even now in May. Right. To participate. So it's like baby steps. As soon as we put this policy in, the next step is that, right? So
agency, but it's a private agency, right? Like where you can make complaints about the co-op.
Oh yeah, honestly though, Jane, no,
I'm just trying to find out if it's government or not.
No, it's not.
Okay, but the landlord tenant board, Remember this because it could advance to this. The landlord and tenant board is government. So your rights come into play when you're challenging any eviction attached to the mask or the vaccine.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to clarify that
it
is actually federal. And I already have thrown down the Bill of Rights. We're already good there. It's just, it's a matter of speaking to this board to stop this and to speak to them.
I would stop talking to them and I would go forward with the NOL.
Okay.
Here's the bullshit. Okay. Here's all the shit that you're doing that's wrong. And I'm
they're out of their jurisdiction.
Yeah. I'm going to give you an opportunity to stop this bullshit or I'm going to come after you. And don't even worry about what their lawyer says. Oh, you're not a lawyer. Who cares? It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. And then do it.
Small claims court is the people's court anyway. You don't need a lawyer. It even says on their whatever description of what small claims court is, it was meant to be accessed without a lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
That's called the people's court. That came from Tommy Douglas.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you taking the time with me, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and when you also, I'm just going to add to it one more thing. When you have one person going after someone in small claims court, and I'm going to use Ontario as an example because every province is different, that's $35,000. You get 10 people doing it. That's $3.5 million. You get 100 people doing it. That's sorry, my math is off. 35,000, 350,000, 3.5 million. You get 1,000 people doing it. That's 35 million. The point is, it is death by 1,000 cuts. I have been really working hard trying to get a template to work with. Problem is, folks, is that I've never done a punitive damage claim before, and I think I finally worked through my writing block this week. So I've got eyes on it now to give me input, to get a second set of eyes on it. I'm working through the bugs right now, and if all goes according to plan, I have people who will be filing claims next week that are not necessarily
punitive damages. Punitive damages is very difficult in small claims, and the whole claim wouldn't be for punitive damages. It would only be for a slap on top of whatever harm. Like, you have to quantify the harm separately, and then you, like, say if you're in an accident, and it's still even hard to get it from small claims court. But if you're in an accident, let's say, and then you had medical bills or whatever, and you lost time at work, those would be your losses. And then if the driver was drunk, then you could slap on an additional amount. That's what punitive is. It's just another slap on top of, but it's very difficult to get that part. So I wouldn't use a lion's share of your 35 for the punitive part. Just use a smaller amount for the punitive part. Yeah, because it's hard to get.
Depending on your argument, though, Jane, like if you're going after an employer, you have actual damages, but if you're going after someone like Omar, you don't necessarily have a whole lot in damages. It is mostly punitive because it's a legal injury.
No, they don't do it like that in small claims court. I'm trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It's in small claims court. It's only not even very long ago that they allowed some punitive damage, and they don't allow it very often. They don't like it. It's something they think is beyond the scope of small claims court. So if you're putting, and I'm not saying don't put it in, but you don't make a claim of punitive damages. You slap it on the end, and I can make 35,000 on Omar, no fucking problem, because you have each right is $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can make 35. Are you going?
So for instance, Omar, a legal injury of assault, you're making a claim of that.
5,000.
Okay, but wouldn't that be considered punitive?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's just a claim of legal injury.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so I'm asking because I need to clear up. I need to clarify this vernacular, because again, I've never done a lawsuit like this, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Is I'm slapping the claim on legal injuries, but I'm thinking of those legal injuries as being punitive. If they're not punitive and just simply legal injuries, I will take the word punitive out of my case.
Yeah. Well, you can slap punitive on because
No,
like
I'm
he
focused.
did it
I'm
deliberately
focused
and there's
only on
bad
legal
faith.
injuries. I'm
Yeah.
focused only on legal injuries.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, say if everything just adds up to 30,000, you could slap 5,000 more on for punitive damages because he's how do you say, there's bad faith there.
Yes. Now, here's the other question, Jane, now that I've got you on, and I'm also have this conversation with you for everybody's benefit. I have claims that are more like, I actually am in excess of 35,000. So my intent is to show all the damages for all the legal injuries because I literally, I can just layer them on like a lasagna. I've got so many legal injuries that I can pursue. So having said that, when you add up all the legal injuries, I'm beyond 35,000. So I was going to do a deduction of whatever the excess is. And if any of the claims of legal injury should fail, it will be substituted with another claim to keep it at 35,000, but the deduction is to keep it at 35,000. So, I mean, basically I'm essentially going to write it so it shows all the injuries, but a deduction for the excess to keep it in small claims.
There's a problem with putting it too high. Like if you say, well, you owe me 60, but I'm only asking for 35, they might bounce it. They might bounce it.
Okay. So, and that's a good question because again, I've never, like, as I say, I've been working on this for like, honestly, over a month now, just trying to get the language and everything right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I have this chance to bounce this one off of you tonight because I want to make sure that I don't use any wrong vernacular or anything either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've done a lot of harm. So I just, like, I know for rights, it's just a general kind of practice that they'll give $5,000 or $6,000 for a violation of rights. So that's what I use. I use 5,000. So, and I use it for each right, but also each criminal code violation as well. So 5,000, 5,000, 5,000.
Okay. Now, Jane, actually, I sent you a text this afternoon. Again, I rather have this so everyone can benefit from my question. I sent you a text this afternoon that said if you're using Section 1B for an for a ROA ticket under the continuing order of 7.0.2, i.e. for a business. I mean, typically when I use the Section 1B, I'm using the word discrimination, but it is a violation of the equality before the law and protection of the law. But can you call it discrimination, or is there another term that would be better used?
Well, I'm not even sure if it is because it's so fucking convoluted. Like I just went through Kelly's yesterday, and that's what they have him down as, 7.0.2. And then we demanded more explanation, and their whole explanation is all because, you know, Rebecca's thing that she got onto that there's no enforcement.
Yeah.
So what they put down is just a complete, like, circular, like, go here, go here, go here, go here, go here. And you never actually come to any place where it's saying this is prohibited, and if you do this, this is going to happen to you. It's not even in there. Mm-hmm. So you can't make a discrimination case because
but can you still do violation of equality?
No, because if they put in there, if Vax passport mandate was actually written up saying, if you like, say, if, like for Kelly, if he's refusing to impose the Vax passport mandate, that's a violation of section whatever, and the penalty is $5,000. Okay. If it said that, then you're creating categories of people, and then there's a discrimination factor involved because vax, unvax, but it's so fucking convoluted. You can't even, they didn't even, like, they kind of threw out that he didn't do the vax pass, but at the end of the day, they just said that his violations were for not doing ID, and what was the other thing for? Shit, I can't remember what the other one was now.
Masking, social distancing.
Might have been. I'm not sure, but it was so stupid. And again, they don't bring you to a specific section. Like, this section says you can't do that, and if you do that, this will happen to you. If you look up any law any other law that's ever existed in Canada, that's the way it looks. Like, look at up parking laws. It'll say if you park whatever, and it's the fine will be this amount, or sometimes it'll be a spread like up to this amount, so they can pick any amount within that amount. But it always shows you if you do this, this is going to happen to you. This doesn't. It just chases you all around. So I argue with 7 point, like with Kelly's, I would argue there's no enforcement. And they go fucking nuts and they get mad. Like his crown fucking blew up and hung up on me when I said, like, where's the enforcement? And Oglaza admitted in court there's no enforcement because there is none. So if we say that there's a discrimination, that means there is something actually there, right? Like making a category of people and treating them differently, but it isn't even there. It's just all over the place. Like they mention vax passport mandate, and they say that they want all unessential businesses to have a vax mandate policy. And then they give this little statement about what they want to see in a vax passport policy. And then that's the end of it. They don't say anything more. They don't say you have to do it or anything. So it goes back to that Black's Law dictionary where they're creating a contract by saying, we want you to make a policy and provide this service, which would be in this case law enforcement service. And this is, if you're going to do it, this is how you have to do it. Like if you're going to engage us, this is how you have to do it. But you can say, no, I'm not doing it. Kelly even had a document from the liquor people that was quoting public health, and it said that there was complaints about Kelly that he wasn't doing his mask thing and he wasn't doing the vax passport. And she said they called him and he said he chooses not to do it. So they're closing the case because it's voluntary. That's right in the middle of all the hysteria that they did to him. And it's all smoke and mirrors, the whole fucking thing. Like they give him two stupid, sketchy bylaw tickets that are saying 7.0.2 with no description, just 7.0.2. And they gave him two of them because one for him and one for his company. And then over 60 days later, they tried to break it down, what he actually did. But all they're doing is just quoting all these different sections all over the place that don't connect. Like the dots don't connect. It's just fucking spazzy. And so at the end of the day, the bottom line is there is no enforcement. Mm-hmm. So there's, and they want it like that too, so that they can't be responsible, that they can't be liable for what's going on. They want Kelly to be responsible. So they want Kelly to just do it. And then at the end of the day, if anybody's going to get sued, they'll say, well, we didn't make him do it. Like, where's the enforcement? And there's no enforcement. We just recommended that he do it, and he did it voluntarily. So, and actually in the Black's Law Dictionary, it says, if you do accept to provide the services that are being suggested, the liability flips to the service provider. So that's all they're trying to do. And people are thinking, and actually they're not just thinking, like they've got these things going, like, look what they did to Kelly. Like they gave him two bylaw tickets that are all sketchy and stupid. He hasn't been convicted yet. And then they said, we're taking your business license because you broke the law. But they haven't given him a trial yet. So they can't conclude that he broke the law until he gets a trial. But nevertheless, they took his business license. They took his liquor license for the same reason. And then they started doing these injunctions against him, like, because with the Section 22. And the Section 22 order also said they were doing that because he was non-compliant. So in other words, and they made the claim that his tickets that he got, these same two tickets that he still hasn't had a hearing for, are proof that he was non-compliant. But yet we got a Glaza who issued the order sitting in the witness stand saying, I don't know of any enforcement. So how the fuck can you be non-compliant if there's no enforcement? It's all smoke and mirror, nonsense, garbage.
Yeah, and that's even like my 364/20.
Yep. Yeah,
They
you're the
couldn't-
one that got that. I'm so impressed with that too.
They couldn't
I know I say
identify
it all the time, but it was a really good.
All right,
Because
guys.
it was a tail chasing thing, eh?
Mhm.
And it's really, it takes a long time to really get your head around it. And when you see at the end of the day, there's nothing. It's a nothing burger.
Yeah. Yeah, it totally
And that's
is.
why they're dropping all the charges everywhere,
Yep.
because there's nothing.
Hey, they're dropping charges for people that do self-representation.
Yes, yes.
Because the lawyers just go, oh, nothing you could do. You're going to have to take a deal. And they go $3,000
Yeah.
or $5,000 for that.
Yeah, or they'll bring it down and down and down if you say no. They brought Kim's down to $5, and she still said no.
Yep. All right, guys, it is 10:30. We're going to wrap it up for the night.
Okay, folks, someone asked me a private question. I am not a lawyer. I am not giving legal advice. I simply share the information that I've educated myself on, and it's up to you to do with it what you want.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
I'm a paralegal, and I've put a lot of time into these COVID bylaws stuff, what I call rinky-dinky bylaws.
We've all put in a collectively.
Yes, we all have.
Yeah, we really have, guys. I don't think you could. I couldn't even possibly total the number of hours in the past 2 years.
Absolutely.
Honestly, and so people understand from my perspective, although I am newest to the gang here because I was late waking up, if you want to use that expression. A long time ago, I had a real issue with it, as Rebecca puts it, authority. I didn't like the way things were running, the way they were administrating laws against honest people while criminals were getting away in this country. So I started to educate myself a long time ago on law, doing the best that I can to better. So I would read the laws, I would understand the laws, and I started self-representing myself in court when and if I ever had to go to court. And I had to go to court on a couple of occasions. And I had there was one loss for me, but I didn't represent myself. I had a lawyer do it. They lost. I don't. And hopefully I maintain that record, knock on wood. But my point is that I didn't like authority, the authority, the way it was being administered in this country. So I started to educate myself a lot. And now I am doing what I can to just share what I've learned to help guide people to decide for themselves whether or not they want to self-represent. I'm not giving legal advice to anybody, folks.
Second that. I'm sharing my knowledge that I learned from Jane and from Amanda and from my own experiences. And also what I've learned from the people that, like you guys, that share what you're doing and share your experiences. So this is it's a collective, guys. We're all individuals taking action in a larger collective, creating change in this world, creating change that we want to see to make this place a better place and get rid of these evil Satanists. And that's what we're doing, one person at a time.
And there's always something we can do to defeat communism. Always. There's always, every day. Little things, big things, collective with other people or individual, with your kids, talk to your kids, challenge when you see its ugly head sticking up, like the co-op stuff that you're talking about there. That's communism. Collective rights over the individual rights. That's communism. Seeping into your co-op. Nip it in the bud.
Yep. And don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Because we can't, this is we cannot expect anybody else to do that for us. Yeah. We need to do that now. And you know what? Sometimes, guys, you just say no. Yeah. No. And that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And what we
like when they tried to say, you can't have a fuck Trudeau sign on Parliament Hill.
Yes, I can. And watch me.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Actually, I got into that debate with someone this afternoon. They said, well, that's offensive. Well, you know what? I get it. You're offended by someone saying, fuck Trudeau. That's your problem. It's not my problem. Don't make your problem my problem. Go fuck yourself.
You know what I just thought of? and you know what I just thought of? Your tickets cannot harm me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the best part about that whole experience is when the lady was frisking me on the street. I was like, first of all, if you're doing it for a show, there's nobody around. And I was like, you guys do realize they're coming for your jobs, right? As she's patting me up and down. And I said, you're not immune. They want your jobs. They want your pensions. They want your children.
Yeah.
You guys,
Me, I probably would have said something along the lines like, really? You didn't even buy me dinner first?
Yeah. Didn't kiss me first. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of requests for the Omar update, guys. Unfortunately, we're doing our best that we can, but we are all still working jobs. We do have jobs. We are volunteering full time between the three of us. I think each of us are probably putting in 80 hours a week between our jobs as well as our volunteerism.
That material is ready. That material is ready. We just have to get organized to get it out. And what has come up in the meantime is all this Emergency Act and the injunctions and all that stuff.
Janice, I'm sorry. Janice, I can't speak to the WHO treaty because I'll be honest, I'm not even paying attention to it.
No, I'm not either.
I'm not going to focus. It's so far away.
They have no authority in Canada. As long as we have our Canadian Bill of Rights, they can get off the fucking property.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. You're foreign people. And if you're going to conspire with people in this country, that's treason.
Exactly.
And we have to remember that. That's fucking treason. If our government conspires with foreign entities to undermine the sovereignty of Canada, that's the very definition of treason. So the WHO can fuck off and Trudeau can fuck off. We have the Canadian Bill of Rights and it's not going anywhere. And people are getting onto it and people are using it and people in the system are accepting and respecting it. So we're winning. So fuck the WHO and their little thing.
We got this.
Exactly.
Hashtag fuck them all and hashtag we got this.
Yeah, we do.
No, fuck Trudeau.
Fuck the
I know, guys. We're swearing a lot. I know.
We should make a Dr. Seuss book about fuck the WHO.
Fuck them all. Fuck Trudeau. Fuck Omar. Fuck the Hutu.
Yeah.
I just wrote a book. Guys.
Yeah. Who's on first? We're on first.
Yeah. So, guys, give us some grace here. I know I've said it before, but there's just one thing after another that creeps up on us, and unfortunately, we've been pulled into a lot in the past couple of weeks, and it's definitely on our radar, and we will have it shortly, guys. And it's going to be amazing, and we're going to kick some ass like we have been. You guys are all fantastic. Thank you very much for tonight.
Hold the line.
So many good
Hold
ones.
the line. Yeah. And
so many good things.
Hashtag got this.
Got this.
We got this. Hold the line.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Everyone's welcome to unmute to say goodnight. I like hearing everyone. We say.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Night. Night.
Night.
Have fun in Mexico.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped.